couldn't find any of their cats. They checked the kitchen and found them sitting on the table doing this. All of the cats were completely still, looking up at the ceiling like they were doing some kind of creepy ritual, before they all snapped out of it and went their separate ways. What would you do if you walked in on this? Let me know in the comments. After getting home from the grocery store, this 2-year-old refused to walk into the house and laid down flat on the driveway just to prove a point. Her dad calmly unpacked the groceries from the car, but instead of trying to negotiate with her, he simply picked her up by the jacket and carried her into the house, just like she was a second grocery bag that needed to be brought in. A relatable moment that most dads have likely experienced at least once. Whenever they walk past their wiener dog without showing it any attention, it will immediately run in front of them and flop down on the ground, looking up at them with its tail wagging, waiting to be pet. This dog will continue to follow its owners around the entire house, doing this over and over until a belly rub has been secured. Every time this food truck finishes an order, instead of calling it out like most places would, they actually hand it off to their hardest working employee, a golden retriever whose only job is to deliver the food directly to the customer. After handing it off, he makes sure to give the customer a firm handshake and then collects a little head scratch as his tip for all the hard work. While she was looking for her dog named Bill, she heard a little noise coming from the chicken coop. Opening it up to find this.
Good morning, Tina and Bill. What are you doing in here, Bill?
Bill adores the chicken named Tina, so whenever he goes missing, his owners know exactly where to find him. After her boyfriend of 13 years got back from being at sea, this is the moment that the woman and her dog finally got to see him again. The dog's name is Popeye, who the couple had only had for about 5 months before he left. Since the dog hadn't been with them for too long, they weren't really sure how Popeye would react, let alone if the dog would even recognize him at all. Well, turns out it only took about 5 seconds before the dog remembered who he was, which was when he absolutely freaked out. Popeye literally couldn't stop jumping around, throwing himself at the man, and doing little spins and flops at max speed. Needless to say, this was probably one of the best welcome homes that this guy could ever ask for. Whenever their newborn is missing its mom, the dad will strap an iPad to his face and pull up a photo of the mom for the baby to look at while it eats. This actually seemed to work, and is definitely a genius life hack that resulted in this hilarious moment. When this woman was looking for her Crocs, she found her dog doing this, not really sure what it was about to do. Right before she jumped in, the harmless dog started curling up, making a little bed inside of the shoe, proving the saying, "If it fits, I sits." For more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. While this woman's dog was falling asleep, she decided to give her a little kiss on the head to see how she reacted. The dog looked up at the woman with the most adorable eyes and just stared into her soul without blinking a single time. The dog's expression said it all, showing just how much love the two of them must have for each other. If you love puppies as much as this dog loves her human, make sure to subscribe. After buying their golden retriever a new bed, the sweet pup got so excited that she jumped up and held onto the edge of it, just like her human was on the other side. She then proceeded to shuffle backwards as they brought it into the house, making it look like she was helping the guy carry a heavy object, just so excited to place it down where it belonged. I don't know about you, but I would pay this dog a lot of cheese tax to help me out on my next move. While these guys were at a zoo in Dubai, they ran into this orangutan who was extremely interested in this guy's jacket. It started unzipping it off the guy's chest, opening it up and trying to take it off the man for a closer look.
Help him. Take it off.
The guy went along with it, letting it take his jacket off just to see what it would do. To their surprise, the animal actually tossed it over its head before swinging it around and sticking its arms through it, wearing it just like a human would. This is a great reminder of just how intelligent these animals really are. When it was this kid's turn at their school's costume contest, he wasted no time by dropping to the floor and showing off his homemade Bumblebee costume that transformed into a car. You can see the poor Spider-Man in the back realizing that he didn't stand a chance before the whole crowd started cheering the kid on for such an amazing costume. One of those core memories that this kid is never gonna forget. When she was playing hide and seek with her dog, the pup went to go hide in its favorite hiding spot, but didn't get there in time before the owner found her. The dog froze in its tracks, hoping her human wouldn't see her, not realizing that her entire bottom was still sticking out of the couch. Once she thought the coast was clear, she tried sneaking all the way in before realizing that she had been caught, crawling out in defeat. After noticing that both their dog and one of their shoes went missing, they went outside and found this, a rare golden retriever plant, which after months of watering, had finally produced its first fruit of the season, an emotional support sneaker. To see what this plant grows next, make sure to subscribe. This is probably the greatest paper airplane throw to ever exist. After seeing everyone else making paper airplanes that would only go a few feet, this guy decided to make one out of his soccer ticket, not expecting it to go too far. He launched the airplane, sending it towards the field from almost the highest seat seats in the entire stadium, never expecting where it was about to end up. Somehow, the plane managed to keep flying over the entire stadium, making a few turns on its own before taking one last dive and landing right inside the team's soccer net, causing the entire stadium to freak out at this 1-in-a-million shot. This bird's favorite activity is to play peekaboo through the window with none other than the neighbor's cat. As he moves his head down to hide, you can hear him saying over and over. As cute as this is, it's safe to say that the animals are playing two very different games based on the intense focus on the cat's face. Probably a good thing that there's a window between them. Anytime these people dump water in front of their dog, she jumps into action and starts doing the most hilarious thing. The dog's name is Sally, a 6-year-old Australian cattle dog who spends her days working on a horse farm and is obsessed with digging trenches. Without much thought, she immediately starts digging, directing the water so that it flows away properly. The best part though, she does these little jumps and hops every few seconds, almost like someone is pressing the jump button on an Xbox controller, showing just how excited she is to be doing her most important job. Every time this dog runs inside from the rain, he'll do this super graceful leap onto the mat, where he proceeds to dry his paws all on his own before he continues inside. They even got a little doormat to highlight this hilarious habit, and what's crazy is that they didn't even train the dog to do this. He just doesn't like wet paws. In my opinion, this is a better habit than some humans even have. When this guy was just chilling on his hammock, the happiest sloth in the entire world came out of nowhere and plopped itself right on his lap, curling up with a huge smile on its face. It even let out this little yawn, showing just how comfortable it was snuggling up to him. Whenever it's time to go outside, this dog has this hilarious routine where she'll get this immediate burst of energy, followed by doing the funniest thing. Instead of running down the steps like most dogs would, the dog throws herself onto her stomach, surfing down the stairs like this just to get to the door as quickly as possible. During takeoff on their 14-hour flight to Hawaii, this guy noticed a little hand poking through the seats in front of them, which then started petting his leg hair. The kid in front of them probably thought that they were petting an animal, but instead of saying something, the guy just let it happen. What would you do in a situation like this? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever wondered why hoodies have those long pockets in the front? Well, this guy has sure figured it out. Every time he puts it on, his mini wiener dog jumps in and can always be found napping in there, making this dog an official pocket puppy. Whenever someone comes to their door, their cockatoo named Chicken gets super excited and starts making these sounds. That's right, the barking sound isn't coming from their dog, but is actually coming from this tiny bird as the dog just sits back and lets Chicken do the barking for him. Chicken has grown up around dogs his entire life, catching on to the way that they barked, and now taking the lead whenever he has to scare away the mailman. Every time this guy opens the door to let his dog outside, the second dog in the other room starts making these hilarious sounds. Moments later, you can see the second dog Tokyo drifting around the corner with his traction control completely off, making sure that there was a 0% chance of being left behind. Whenever their humans sit down for dinner, their small dog who can't see over the table will use the other two dogs almost like a step stool, making his way up in hopes for a snack. Based on their facial expressions, it's almost like these three dogs are partners in crime who secretly practice this routine anytime their humans aren't looking. Every time their guinea pigs are out playing with each other, the French bulldog immediately flops on the ground, heading as low as he can to try and play with them. You can see how happy he is as he crawls around with his legs dragging behind him, and his owners are completely convinced that in these moments, the dog 100% believes that he's a guinea pig too.